In the current world, which is experiencing social and technological changes, the traditional forms of human relationships have been threatened. The term human relation crisis has been used more frequently to define the process of the decline in human relations, the increase in loneliness, the weakening of communities, and the dominance of digital media in people's interactions. This video offers a detailed insight of the ways to deal with and improve the social relationships in this multifaceted environment. Thus, through analyzing the causes of the crisis and providing the reader with the possible solutions, it aims at providing scholars and practitioners with the necessary tools to build more stable relationships. This video goes further in explaining why friendships and relationships are so much in trouble at the moment. It also offers some smart tips on how to maintain those relationships despite all the turbulence in and around us. With the knowledge of what happens from professionals to laymen, people can improve on the creation of strong connections that feel like the warmth of a blanket. The human relation crisis poses a deep-seated problem to the manner in which social relations are handled in our society today. But, the strategies that focus on the depth of relationships, recreating communities, and using the function of education and policy, it is possible to manage this crisis. It is possible to prevent the development of the crisis and use the best practices in working with people to strengthen social bonds and create a more integrated society. In the present generation, everything is shifting at the speed of light, like a cyclone that disrupts how people relate. It is as if we are gradually losing touch with our friends and cannot make new friends in the conventional manner. We are lonelier than ever, people are not as connected as they used to be, and things like social media appear to be replacing real-life conversations. First off, let's figure out why it seems harder these days to stay connected in meaningful ways. 1. Social isolation. More people are lonely even if they are not alone because we are all connected through the internet. 2. Weaker community ties, business dinners, or local club events. Those don't happen nearly enough anymore. 3. Digital overload. Our phones never stop ringing or vibrating, and this interrupts real conversations. The social connectivity through the digital revolution has brought together billions of people across the world, but at the same time has led to the disintegration of social relations. The availability of social media has changed the way people interact with each other, and the focus is made on the number of contacts rather than their quality. Research has found that social media addiction is associated with higher levels of perceived social isolation and reduced face-to-face interaction, which in turn erode social relationships. Another factor that has contributed to the current crisis is the decline of community structures and social capital. In Bowling Alone, Robert Putnam addresses the issue of the deterioration of social capital and the diminishing level of people's participation in social activities in the modern world. This has led to a decrease in social trust, which has become rare to find, and people have found it hard to develop and sustain healthy interpersonal relationships. Strategies for managing social relationships. Fostering deep connections in a digital age. To overcome the problem of lack of depth in communication that is typical for digital media, it is crucial to focus on the depth of relationships rather than their extent. This can be done through paying more attention to the interactions and making them more purposeful both in the virtual and real world. It was found that having fewer but stronger relationships is better for well-being and social support than having many weak ties. Practical approaches. 1. Digital detox. Applying the principles of digital detoxification can make a person get closer to the immediate social environment. This practice reduces the reliance on virtual communication and enhances face-to-face communications. 2. Mindful communication. Being attentive to the other person, and being attentive to what they are saying can enhance the relational aspect of the relationship. This entails paying attention to the conversation and not having distractions such as using phones. Rebuilding community structures is, therefore, important to counter the human relation crisis. Engaging in community activities can help rebuild trust and create social capital because people feel they are part of the society. Practical approaches. Community involvement. People should be encouraged to attend local community activities, volunteer work and join civic organizations as a way of reconstructing social contacts. These activities create a platform through which people can meet and interact with other like-minded people. Collaborative spaces. The availability of co-working areas and other community spaces may help people to engage with each other and solve common issues. These spaces are the contemporary meeting places for the development of relationships and community feelings. Community investment. The social capital of communities can be improved by making investments in physical capital that would foster the social capital, for instance, parks, community halls, and social services. These investments make it possible for people to interact and develop relationships within such facilities. Social relations management in the human relations crisis period. The world we live in today can be described as the age of the breakdown of human communication, where people become more and more lonely, isolated, and where communities are fragmented. This crisis, fueled by technology, social inequality, and other factors including the recent COVID-19 pandemic, has resulted in a drastic reduction of social relationships, which are essential for human existence. This article reviews the current literature on how people have been handling their social relationships in this crisis, and provides useful tips on how to maintain positive relationships in a rather isolated society. The crisis of human relationships. Interpersonal relationships are in a state of crisis at various degrees. The reduction of the frequency of live communication, the increased use of digital platforms for communication, and the impact of social networks are also the factors that negatively affected the quality of social relations. Solitude, which has been termed as an epidemic, is not just a mental health issue but also a physical health issue, and research has indicated that loneliness is a risk factor for mortality with an odds ratio of 1.26. This crisis has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has led to physical distancing measures, which, while important for health reasons, have had negative impacts on social connectedness. Studies have revealed that the pandemic has increased feelings of loneliness and isolation among people, especially the elderly and those with pre-existing mental disorders. Understanding the importance of social connections. This is why the focus of the latest studies is the role of social relations in the life of individuals and the stability of society. Social relationships offer companionship, relieve stress, and give people a feeling of being accepted, which are critical for well-being. The World Happiness Report of 2023 shows that social support is one of the 6 factors that account for differences in life satisfaction between countries. In addition, people with close social connections can deal with such emergencies as natural disasters or epidemics more effectively, since they can rely on the support of their neighbors. The problem of human relations is a global one, and it cannot be solved by a single solution. In this way, it is possible to restore the social connections and minimize the issues of loneliness and social isolation by using face-to-face communication, being wise about technology use, supporting communities, and raising awareness about mental health. With the progressive advancement in research, it is about time that we use these findings to foster a society that is interconnected and strong.